Hello and welcome to another episode of Mic Drop, the weekly video series where we discuss emerging marketing trends and what they mean for small businesses and franchises. I'm Mike Peters, online media director here at J Miller Marketing, 16-year industry veteran, and your host for today's topic, Geofencing. We're back at it again. Geofencing continues to be popular with our clients, but they're coming to me with a lot of questions and a lot of misconceptions about how it works. So today I'm going to kind of tackle those. I've got my famous note cards are back. I got the top 10 misconceptions about geofencing, and I've also got a little map that I drew that I'm going to help illustrate how geofencing actually works. So first misconception we have is geofencing versus geo-targeting. Are they the same thing? No, they are not. Geofencing, we are putting a fence, a virtual fence, around a very specific finite area. Geo-targeting is simply how you are telling whatever advertising you're running, any online advertising you're running, what areas to target. And by areas, I mean zip codes, cities, regions, DMAs, states, countries, much larger areas we're talking about when you're talking about geo-targeting. The lowest you can get down with a geo-target is about a mile radius around a specific point. Whereas geofencing, we are incredibly accurate. We can get down to 6 inches. 6 inches. So if you wanted to target a very small space, say maybe a kiosk in a mall, we could put a geofence around that. But you could not do that with geo-targeting. So let me consult my map here, and I'm going to show you the difference between. So here we have a busy retail intersection here. We got Target over here, we got your store here, your competitor here, some store I did not name, but you see we got the one-way streets going, we got a little cross-section here, parking, that's what those little dashes are. So with a geo-target, you would be targeting the city that these are in, or if you were lucky, you were going to put a dot on your store, and then for a mile radius around that, you would be targeting. So anybody in that radius would be seeing your ads, and that is geo-targeting, and it's a very fundamental way that you should be targeting your ads. You do that in Google, you do it in Facebook, you do it in display, you do it in all sorts of things. But if you want to take it a step further and go to geofencing, now we're going to take purple, or represent my geofence here. So we love everybody at Target. They are great customers. They just come across the street, they buy from us, and it's fantastic. So we want to put a geofence right around that target. That is anytime the user crosses into this purple space, the target, the actual building target, they can now see our ads. Remember, geo-targeting, way big. Geo-fencing, finite. We're targeting physical buildings. We can target things that aren't buildings, we can do like parks and things, but it is a fence where people actually come in. And so now they're going to see our ads, they're going to go across the street, they're going to see our store, and what we do now is we put another fence. We're going to do green, because that means money. So we put this green fence around your store. And if we know that we register the people here, we grab their mobile ID, and then when they're seen in your store, I know that the ad that we placed for you in Target worked, because it brought somebody to your store. So we can target more. target, great. Don't cut that out, Mike. So we can target that area more. We can target relative or other buildings like Target, maybe a Walmart. And we're going to keep on driving people into your store. If you want to get, if this competitor is annoying, we can put a fence around them too. So people who go to your competitor's store, they can come to your store, we can register that as well. So that is only possible through geofencing, not geo-targeting. So geofencing, think of it as a very finite point. So that one, done. Next, geofencing differs between Android and iPhone devices.
False.
No, doesn't matter. They're both phones. They're going to see your ads regardless of which device they're on. So yeah, that one, nope. Facebook, Google, and Snapchat are already geofencing.
False.
No, they are not. They are geo-targeting. If you remember my lengthy demonstration over here, geo-targeting is the smallest area you can get down to is only a mile radius. So if you want to target a mile, or a city or a state or a set of zip codes, yes, Facebook, Google, they can do those types of things, but they cannot yet geofence. The smallest target they let us do is a mile. All right. Geofencing is radius based.
False.
No, it is not. As I just showed you, I can make a square. It can be a radius, but it's not limited to a circle. We can put a square around things, rectangles. We can make any polygon we want. I did a stadium that had a bunch of little points because it was an odd-shaped stadium, but I got that actual stadium targeted. I didn't have any overlap into like a field next to the stadium. It's very, again, pinpoint. So we're doing the exact dimensions of whatever physical location we are targeting. You have to pay for geofencing by the number of fences or the size of area that you're fencing.
False.
No, untrue. We buy geofencing just like we buy any display product. We're buying it on a CPM or maybe a CPC basis. Sometimes you can also buy it on a cost per acquisition. So if you have some sort of online sale that you want to do, you can buy by acquisition. So people who actually bought from you, you would pay for. But it is totally not dependent on the size of fence we're making or the number of fences. The only limitation with the number of fences is 1 million. That's just because the system can't take any more than 1 million. So please don't give me 1 million because we have to manually put them into an Excel sheet, and that would take forever. But doing 10, 20, even 100, not a problem at all, and it does not affect your costs whatsoever because we're buying on a CPM basis. So we're only paying for impressions. We're not paying for numbers of fences or sizes of fences. Requires a user opt-in to see the ad.
False.
This is the biggest misconception I get about geofencing. This is untrue. This is because there is some confusion as to what geofencing actually is. Geofencing is just a way of targeting our ads, our display ads. So just like you run display ads in Google Display Network, or you run display ads through an ad network, these are ads that are showing up on sites and in mobile apps. It's just like anything else. It doesn't require a user to opt in. The only opt-in we have to worry about is the person having location services enabled on their phone, which almost everybody does across some sort of app, either their map app or their weather app. Apps ask for all sorts of permissions, and once you grant those permissions, like location services, then we're in. We know where your phone is. It doesn't matter what app you enabled. It doesn't matter if you're looking at the app or not, as long as it's live on your phone, it could be in the background, which most apps are. We know your location. We can target you. We know if you're in our fence. So the user opt-in is not required whatsoever. You're going to get an ad just by getting into our fence. The confusion stems from people thinking that SMS push text notifications are geofencing. They are targeted via geofencing, so they're putting these radiuses around stores, but then if you have a retailer's app or if you've opted into their loyalty program or texting program and they notice that you're in the fence, you can get pushed a text notification. A while back, I worked with a client who we worked with an app called Retail Me Not, and we geofenced it must have been like 2,000 different retail locations that this client had in the US. And we partnered with Retail Me Not so that anybody who went past our locations and who had the real Retail Me Not app and who had opted into these messages, they would get a pop-up notification saying, hey, today only, buy one, get one free, whatever. They did require the opt-in there, but that is not what geofencing is. Display geofencing, very passive. All you got to do is enter that fence. You don't need to opt in whatsoever. Requires an app. This one kind of falls just like the last one. It does not require an app whatsoever. Retail Me Not did require an app in that use case. But the way we place geofencing, or the way we use geofencing to place our display ads, no app required. You just need a mobile device, and you need to look at either any app that's selling ad inventory or any mobile site that's selling ad inventory. That's all we need to show an ad to your customer. No, they did not go very far whatsoever. It's difficult to get a lot of impressions with geofencing.
False.
Geofencing is, as I've said many times before, is just display. There is a near infinite amount of display impressions available every day across the United States. I did the math. I think it's something around 63 billion impressions are available in the U.S. every day. And so we're just telling our geofencing, we're just geofencing our display, And whenever somebody comes into our target, they just access that huge pool of impressions and they get served our ad. We have never had any difficulty driving impressions. It drives just like a Google Display Network. We drive as many impressions as we need to, as many as we can buy with our budget. So completely false there. It's difficult to measure ROI or success.
False.
In fact, it is actually the easiest for us to measure right now in terms of most of our clients, because most of our clients are brick and mortar locations who have no sort of online conversion or sale to measure or to look at our ads and see if they're working. But with geofencing, I talked about that green. Remember the green square I put around your store? Then every time somebody walks in, that is a conversion. That's somebody visiting your store. And so what would you rather want? Would you rather spend $500 on display and be told, you got 250,000 impressions and 1,000 clicks? We thought it was great. Or would you rather say you got 150,000 impressions, 340 clicks, but we drove 250 people into your store? Which one's easier to determine the value of? And that's why geofencing is so great for local businesses, because we can now link that online action. Somebody saw your ad and now they are in your store. What I can't link right now, and there is technology that can do this. We just haven't quite got it to work yet with the budgets we're used to working with. But I can't say once they got into your store what they did. Maybe they bought something, maybe they didn't. I don't know, but I do know that they saw your ad and they came in. And that's really enough to determine the value of your advertising, because advertising can't make somebody buy. It can only get them in the store. And then it's your job to get them to buy. So difficult to measure ROI? Nope. It's actually the easiest in terms of the types of channels we work with on a local scale. And then finally, did that land on my head? No. And finally, geofencing can't work alone.
False.
It can work alone. It's just display advertising. It's a brand awareness medium, and in fact, it works a little better by itself than any other kind of channel, because you can at least see if you're spending $500, if you're driving people in your store, then you have the value. But really, it is at the end of the day, while we do want it to drive people into the store, it is about brand awareness, and it's just like any other display. So it can work. We like to layer it in with like a paid search, because we're generating this brand awareness. They might not click on your ad now, but later down the road, they might click on your paid search ad and get your location and come into your store. And then we can tell, we can watch and see that ad brought somebody later into your store. And so can it work alone? It can, but we like to work with it in tandem with several other channels, just like any marketing. You want to kind of layer everything in. There's never really a one-shot solution for everything. So layer it in. It's a very valuable tactic. We're seeing great success with it, kind of replacing the Google-based display, because Google can't tell you if people are coming to your store. And it's very limited in terms of like behaviors and interests that you can target, whereas we're targeting people based on their behaviors in the physical world where they're going to shop. So that is it. That is all for me. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it cleared up a lot of misconceptions. If you have any other questions about geofencing, I talk about it almost every day, it seems like. Please let me know in the comments. I'll answer it there. You can email me at mike@jmillermarketing.com. Please subscribe to this channel so you can see more great content like this. But until then, consider this mic dropped.